Hello everyone, it's the Sky Priestess. I know we just spoke to each other during the Hello Neighbor, and for those of you who haven't checked it out, we had a really nice community discussion, general hangout, people sharing stuff. It's what we do on Hello Neighbors. But I also wanted to give you a quick heads up with the upcoming full moon in Leo. Now, this full moon is quite special in the sense that it aspects bodies like Chiron, Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn, Mars, and of course the Sun because it's a full moon. And when we have all of these bodies being lit up in the sky into this single point of focus, you can imagine that all of this collective energy that's just been churning over the past few weeks is coming to a point. Now, that point can mean different things for different people. Astrology is not set in stone. At best, it's a guideline. So, things that have to do with Leo include creative projects, they include leadership, management, politics, arts, the media. They also include just what we are really passionate about, what makes us come alive, being in love, marriage, children. It covers all of this stuff. Basically, it covers the things that makes us happy to be alive and makes us feel energized and makes us very, very passionate. Now, Leo can be a very generous energy or it can also be a very stingy energy depending on the Leo in question. So it's hard to generalize beyond that. But really, I would say this full moon is going to be shining a spotlight on where we sit with how true and how honest we are with our heart centers. So this is a time where you really need to be looking at the deeper truth that comes through, especially through your emotional body, through whatever creative impulses you may have, through whatever passionate moments or just things that say, hey, I got to do this now. Look at the deeper truth that is coming through it all. And if you're experiencing a lot of emotions, emotional overload, hypersensitivity, vulnerability, and so on and so forth, take some space for yourself. This is a time where each individual needs to be looking at the truth of their relationship with their heart center. The heart center is not a cuddly place. You got to go and look back, decent writings on the chakra system to understand that the heart center is also about detachment. And it is the wisdom of the heart that allows us to see love from a perspective that is not all about possession and ownership. So when we see that balance between compassion and detachment, we come from a place where our actions, I would say, quite naturally align with the will of the divine. So if you're interested in mantras and whatnot, I've been suggesting working with the heart mantra, rather the heart sutra recently. And I would say that's very, very useful. You can look that up online. There are many versions of it, but the key phrase is gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhi swaha. That's the key phrase. And you can, of course, look that up. And that's something that brings us to a space of acceptance and equanimity with whatever does come up. Acceptance does not mean that you take shit. It means that you come at it from a space where you are not shaken in the core of who you are. And ultimately, through the spiritual journey, you realize that all things have come from nothing and nothing is everything at the same time. That is one of the concepts in the teaching. But that's a bit esoteric. But ultimately, you can use that mantra. You can work with it if you feel a little lost, if you need something to focus on. And you can also try to do stuff that help you creatively channel your energies into something that lights you up. And when you are lit up from within, you don't need someone else to validate you. You can share what you're creating with someone, and that can bring greater joy into the collective. But effectively, it is something that energizes you as a soul and as a being. So do what you truly love. And a lot of the times we get caught because society tells us we're something, family tells us we're something, movies tell us we're something, and the ego mind gets conditioned into believing that it is one thing and not something else. So when we sit in that conditioning is when we lose sight of what our heart center is actually asking us to do. And really, undoing that conditioning needs to be the foundation of any spiritual practice that exists that is worth your time. So as you seek to discover what is that authentic sense of selfhood, that's where you will begin to understand what is your heart center and why feeling and coming from that space of heart centeredness is so different than any other experience. So it's not your immediate emotions, it's not your intellectual self, it's not even your body, it's something beyond. So that, I would say, is the ideal position or principle towards which all of us can be aspiring to. And there's going to be even more changes in the global scale, and that is where we really need to make sure that our ego mind doesn't take us for a ride. Rallying at what's happening somewhere in the world without doing anything about it will not help anybody. So do what you can to come into that place of presence and flow, and that is how you will know where to go. And that's about it. So take care. Very many blessings. Remember to check out the Hello Neighbor, especially if you want more of that community feel. And yeah, ciao ciao for now. Bye bye.